Good morning, I'm Elise Modica, and here's the latest update from Spectrum Autism Research. Spectrum Launch: Carving Out Vacation Time as an Early Career Researcher by Angie Voiles-Ascom. When Oscar C. Gonzalez was in graduate school, he hardly took any time off. He regularly worked weekends, he says, and took short breaks only for Thanksgiving and Christmas. My own anxiety about finishing grad school would make me want to check my email constantly and respond right away, he says. I would see an email and think I need to deal with that, instead of realizing that it can wait until tomorrow. Gonzalez, now a postdoctoral researcher in psychiatry and behavioral sciences in Luis de Lucia's lab at Stanford University in California, is still not great at shutting off the work side of his brain, but he says he has gotten better. This month, he's taking a week-long trip to Prague with his family. And although he may read a paper or two on the plane, he says, that is the extent of the work he plans to do. Like Gonzalez, many early career researchers may struggle to disengage from work over the holiday season. Expectations about time off can be unclear in academia, and the need to care for model organisms or run experiments can make it difficult to take breaks. There's this level of guilt if you take off too many days, says Catherine Byrne, a graduate student in Catherine Lord's group at the University of California, Los Angeles, even though her advisor encourages vacation time. Early career researchers can change that mindset and avoid burnout by planning ahead and setting clear boundaries, Gonzalez says. For one thing, early career researchers should ask their advisor or principal investigator, or PI, early on about the expectations around time off, Gonzalez says. Some PIs may support lab members taking vacations at different times throughout the year as long as the work gets done, whereas others may prefer more face time in the lab, he says. Setting boundaries during non-vacation time also helps, says Gonzalez, who now sets clear work hours for himself and avoids checking his work email in the evenings. Teresa Del Bianco, a senior postdoctoral researcher at the Center for Brain and Cognitive Development at Birkbeck University of London in the United Kingdom, has gone as far as removing the email app from her phone. My policy is that unless it is extremely, extremely urgent, please do not contact me outside of normal work hours, she says. Those boundaries are not always easy to maintain. Once, while on a vacation in Tuscany, Del Bianco found herself scouring Amazon for a replacement computer cable for her lab after she received multiple text messages from colleagues asking her to troubleshoot problems with equipment. But her boundaries generally help to keep her in good mental health, she says. Of course, even when early career researchers feel ready to take time off, there can be logistical challenges. Researchers and clinicians working with human participants may be limited by their study participants' schedules. For example, a scientist's vacation plans may be derailed because many families prefer to have sleep studies conducted during holiday breaks when their child is out of school, says Bozi Chen, a psychology intern at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas. But planning ahead can help make time off possible, Chen says. Many labs have teams of people who can run the experiments with enough advance notice. Researchers who work with model organisms have their own constraints. Someone must take care of the animals or cell cultures, Gonzalez says. Once researchers have a trip planned, they should be sure to give their lab mates plenty of notice so that it's easier to plan around the absence, he says. Gonzalez also keeps a detailed calendar so that he knows when experiments need to be run and when big deadlines are approaching. That helps him avoid planning a vacation at an inconvenient time for his lab group, he says. Although preparing for time off can sometimes feel stressful, taking breaks is important, and possibly a biological need, Del Bianco says. She plans to travel to her home country of Italy this month to visit family and friends. Some birds, if you put them in a cage and force them not to migrate, they become super restless, and they can have a heart attack because their instinct is so strong, she says. So I like to think of myself as being a migrating bird. That's all for today. Check back next Monday for more content from Spectrum Autism Research or go to spectrumnews.org.